Good morning, everybody. This is Eric with Exclusive Tutoring San Diego. And what I'm doing here is I'm doing a series called Smart and Lazy. Now, when you hear that phrase, you might think it's a little bit weird because most of us have actually been used to this other phrase called smart but lazy. And what I want to point out here is that with the amount of research that we've been able to do in the past couple years, we've started to notice a big change in the way that we approach praise and the way that we approach reinforcement with our students. Now, in the past, we've really been focused upon positive and negative reinforcement, avoiding the punishment style, hitting our children or giving them, disciplining them in the sense of, when they do something wrong. But on the other hand, what we've found now is that certain types of praise are actually hurting our students if we don't quite remind them of how they are achieving their abilities. And so, in my past introduction, I've already talked about why the phrase smart and lazy should exist instead of smart but lazy. The premise of being smart actually allows you to be lazy. So when we begin to teach our children, begin to reinforce our children's intelligence, we're actually reinforcing their ability to be lazy because we've been teaching and telling them about how great they are in terms of their intelligence. Now, today's talk that I really want to point out is this other very common phrase that we use, that is, practice makes perfect. And back when I was actually starting my business coach brought up a new phrase and altered it just a little bit to be able to give a bigger impact. It's not practice makes perfect, but that perfect practice makes perfect. Because if you practice the wrong thing, you don't end up achieving the abilities that you would like. But here's another one that I recently came across, and it was actually an online guitar teacher called Justin Guitar, justinguitar.com. He's a great teacher there. And what he actually says on there is that practice makes permanent. And I actually really like this phrasing because that word perfect kind of, it's an elusive word because a lot of people aim for perfection, but perfection is something that is very hard to achieve. And sometimes I do understand that aiming for perfection and constantly looking for perfection can cause anxieties of some sorts as well. So instead of telling our students that practice makes perfect or perfect practice makes perfect, let's avoid that phrase perfect here and let's actually switch it over to practice makes permanent, and teaching our students about the fact that the repetition of their behavior, learning how to do certain things, and practicing that behavior, doing it over and over and over again, allows them to make it permanent within their minds. And this actually leads me into this metaphor that I use for my students called the mind forest. The mind forest is this way that I explain how the mind works and how our students and their brains begin to absorb knowledge and start to build in their brains. I like to equate the child's, the newborn child's mind to a brand new uninhabited earth or uninhabited planet. And in this situation, this planet has never been touched by man. So imagine all the forests, all the mountains, rivers, streams, etc. is only created by nature. And if you think about a child, when they're born, the only things that they're able to do are already in their mind. They start to learn and they start to build upon these things as they experience the world around them. And I like to equate that experience to bits of construction. So imagine that in the mind you begin to create cities and you create little pathways that link the different thoughts. Well, in the mind forest, the metaphor that I use to explain this, that's exactly how it is. The child's mind is, a untouched, brand new planet in which mankind is and experience is taking its hand and creating these different roadways and these different pathways that allow us to connect thought and to understand the world around us. Now, what I really want to point out here is the fact that we start to create these pathways as we learn and as we experience things. And learning is going through that pathway over and over again and constructing pathways and roadways or highways, etc., that allow your thought process to connect faster and faster. And so, it's a very complex mystery of how the mind truly works, but I do find that this basic explanation of how we create new experiences and create these different thoughts and memories, etc., is all about taking these constructions in our mind and starting to build upon them. And so that's why cramming doesn't work when we learn. Some kids think that they can learn something the night before and then go in and take a test, but that's as if you had just gone and walked down a single path to create a new memory or create a new create new knowledge. And in that situation, it's very easy to mislead yourself or to maybe walk down the wrong path, if that makes sense. So I will be talking more about this mind forest. I use it very regularly to explain to my students the way that their mind develops. And I hope that this is something that we can continue to work on together and maybe converse a little bit about. If you have some ideas or some metaphors or some other understandings that help align with this type of talk, go ahead and let me know. And I do know that one there's a animated movie recently that was talking about the way that the mind works, and it kind of had this similar metaphor of how the city in the mind, I forgot what the specific name of that movie was, but it was actually pretty recent, just in the last year. I'll be sure to post that next time after I do my research on it. But again, the mind forest and also practice makes permanent. These are some things that I really want to bring up and start to try to change the way that we reward our students when it comes to praise. So we're going to stop using the "oh, you're so smart." We're going to stop using the "practice makes perfect," and we're going to try to change these just a little bit to create, a setting and to give our students the advantages that we can find through science here. All right. And if you guys have other things that you guys would like to talk to me about, again, this is Eric with Exclusive Tutoring San Diego. I'm very accessible. Go ahead and email me at eric@exclusivetutoringsd.com. And, I'd be more than happy to talk more about this. I'm doing my research here and trying to figure out how we can truly unlock the potential of all of our students across this world. Allow them all the possibilities that they are capable of. But again, I know a lot of it comes down to the way that we teach each other and the way that we reward each other in terms of the phrases that we use. So I hope that was a good little talk. I hope that you guys can share this with some people around you as well to allow them further and better understanding of how we learn. All right? Have a great day. Hope to talk to you guys all very soon. See ya.